She lived on a curve in the road in an old tar paper shack on the south side of the town, on the wrong side of the tracks. Sometimes on the way into town we'd say, "Mama, can we stop and give her a ride?" Sometimes we did, but her hands flew from her side while I'd crazy Mary.
Hey, my name's Justin Quinn, and today we're taking a ride out to take a look at what's going on in the Mary's Peak watershed. Now this is the watershed that feeds most of Corvallis, depending on the time of the year. During the summer they pull water out of the Willamette and make up for some of it, but for the most part during the winter time or times when it's wet, the water's coming up out of Mary's Peak. So today we're going to take a drive out there. We're going to get up to the top, take a look, talk about some of the features, aspects of the river, what's going on, and how that impacts area, specifically how that impacts beaver water policy.
So I'm Aaron Wolf. I'm a professor of geography here in the College of Earth, Ocean, and Atmospheric Sciences. Our water comes in the summer comes from the Willamette River, and in the winter comes from Mary's River.
Well, my name is Steve Cook, and I went back to college and got a PhD when I was 40 years old so I could teach. And I've been an environmentalist for 40 years. Proud environmentalist, I guess I should add. Yeah, I know where the water comes from. I was a little surprised when a guest speaker in the class asked students how many knew where the water came from, and about, I suppose, 6 out of 300, and they'd never really given it a thought.
Steve Sharrow. I'm a professor emeritus in the Department of Rangeland Ecology and Management.
I'm Ben Schmoller.
Benj, what are you doing here?
I'm getting a degree. I'm majoring in political science and doing ROTC.
I'm Imran Haider. I teach in the communications department at Oregon State University full-time.
All right, I'm a sophomore in chemical engineering. I work at the bookstore.
My name's Rachel. I'm a senior and I'm studying speech communication.
The things I think I've learned is we don't really have a national water policy, and that's a very broad term because we have lots of acts, we have lots of treaties, we have lots of stuff like that, but in terms of some basic standards, we lack a national water policy. Is that a fair statement from as a student asking you, or?
Yeah, actually, for a number of reasons. One of them being that a lot of our water sources are oversubscribed. The Willamette River, for instance, oversubscribed. There's more water rights than there is water. And so that always builds conflict, which is a political issue.
And this is what it's really all about, is we have no national water policy right now, and this is an election year. We got connections to President Obama, but we got to be realistic and fair to him. Do we think a lack of national water policy should be a top 3 issue in a presidential election year?
Certainly for southern states, I can imagine it would definitely be in the top 3, although its relevance to Oregon and OSU might be out of the top 3.
Sure. One of the things that we have is a lack of national water policy, which is kind of amazing for a country this size. Do you think that's something that should be a major issue in an election year?
Well, not just an election year, every year, yeah.
Right, sure. Now, would you be okay if you're a Corvallis resident to have your water pumped to Southern California because they're overusing it?
You know what? If they paid for it, I don't see why not, you know, and then worst case scenario, if we are clearly running out of water, then we can just stop selling it to them.
I'm not sure it should be a top 3. I would say it should be an issue because the way we treat our planet is becoming more of a prevalent issue, but I don't think it is. I think people are it's gonna be trumped by the norms of healthcare, you know, the policies on war and the economy, things like that. So it's never gonna make it in like the top 5, but I think it should be a priority.
President Obama, thank you for taking a few moments to hear our OSU water policy. Here at Oregon State, we believe in an innovative and sustainable approach towards a national water policy. Tonight, we come to you at Oregon State not as Democrats, not as Republicans, but as Americans. And we're sending a clear message to you, and we want you to remember, America is our damn water! How's that sound?
Sounds fine to me.
Thank you, everybody.